Hi there, Johnny here from johnnylipshamstudios.co.uk. Welcome back to the power of the key change. This is the second part. The first part, in the last video, we dealt with major key changes, dealing specifically just with major keys. Well, this video, we are going to deal with the dark side of that, which is minor keys. All right, so I apologize if you end up in a little bit of a dark mood at the end of this, but that's just the nature of music. You know, the contrast between light and dark, that's what makes music so good. That's what makes songwriting so much fun, is that you can play with this contrast between light and dark all the time. So that's what we're going to do. So pretty much when you're doing the 2-5-1 method, not a whole lot changes between how you affect a major 2-5-1 and how you affect a minor 2-5-1. In fact, it is just one little note that has to change, and that's the fifth of the chord. If you have your three notes of your chord, your C, your E flat, or your E, and your G, it's the top note, the G, or wherever you voice that note, the G in the C chord that has to change. Okay, so I'm going to show you how all of that is done, and I'm going to explain to you why we have to do this. And it's all to do with the scale. Last week we looked at the major scale and how all the notes were derived from that scale to make your 2-5-1. Well, in exactly the same way, we're dealing with a minor scale. And so that's why we have to derive the notes from that scale to make the key change work in the most convincing manner. Okay, so let's have a look at this. We'll go back to the sheets we used last week. So this is last week's sheet with the C major scale and the major 2-5-1, with the 1 chord being major, the 2 chord being minor, and the fifth chord, chord 5, being a 7th chord. It's a dominant 7th chord. So in the key of C, that's D minor, G7, C. And so I had said, if you remember, that to do a key change, to make it work, you have to do the key change, the 2-5-1, in the target key. So if I'm in the key of C, I don't do D minor, G7, C, because we get stuck. Do you remember I demonstrated how you can just get stuck and it's like going around in circles? We don't want to do that. So if I'm in the key of C, wanting to go to the key of G, I would use A minor, D7, G. Exactly the same principle here with minor keys. If we look on this page, we have a slightly different scale. You'll notice that some of these have a little B sign next to them. If you don't know what that is, that basically means that this note is flattened. This note is flattened, and this note is flattened. So instead of E, we have E flat. Instead of A, we have A flat. Instead of B, we have B flat. Okay? And this is what makes the minor scale. In this case, I've said there in brackets harmonic minor. There are two minor scales. It's the harmonic minor and the melodic minor. When we're dealing with chords and chord changes, we deal with the harmonic minor scale. Okay, so that's what we're dealing with here. This is all harmony, so we're not worried about melody at this point. So we'll deal with the melodic minor scale in a different video. So here we go, the C minor scale. So we start with C, D, E flat, F, G, A flat, B flat, and of course the octave C. It's a little bit dark sounding, okay? But that's the nature of the beast. That's what we're dealing with this week. Okay, so if we look down to the next section here, a 2-5-1 in a minor key, chord 1 is always minor because we go into a minor key. Chord 2, I've said here, minor 7 flat 5. This is where we start getting into a little bit of alteration of chords, and the reason for that is if we go back to our scale here, we have to derive our notes from this scale, and you need to in a sense, when we're doing a 2-5-1, we're anticipating the new key. We're taking the listener from the original key to the new key. So we use scale tones like the ones on the sheet here, the C, D, E flat, F, G, A flat, B flat, these scale tones here. We take these scale tones and we temporarily take them back into the old key so that the listener's ear is prepared for those being in the new key. All right. So the key is C minor. We have to do D minor 7 flat 5 because, as you can see here, if we start the scale on a D, because we're on chord 2, D, E flat, F, G, A flat. So my fifth of my chord is now A flat and not A natural because we're not dealing with the major scale. So A flat. So, and then the next chord is G7 sharp 5. So if we were to start that scale again, but starting it on G, so we go G, A flat, B flat, C, D, E flat, okay? Okay, so we're introducing the two notes belonging to the C minor scale, the A flat and the E flat. Okay, so if I'm in the key of F major, for example, my song, nice little gospel number. And we want to go to G minor. I'm going to use A minor 7, A, C, E flat, G, there's my flat 5, to D7 with the sharp 5, which is the A sharp or B flat. And now I'm in G minor. And to go back, I stay on the G minor, C7, and now I'm back in F. Okay, I've got a little bit ahead of myself, but that's why we need to use these flat 5s and sharp 5s, is to create the right effect for the listener's ear to take you into the minor mode, the minor key that you've gone to. Okay, so I've done the 2-5-1 in C minor and I've looked a little bit at the G minor. So let's do the next one, the key of E minor. This one starts on F sharp minor with the flat 5. So we did F sharp minor B7 E for the key of E major. Alright, but this time we're going darker, aren't we? So we want F sharp minor, same as last time, but this time that's C sharp, F sharp A, C sharp becomes a normal C, a C natural. And then the B7 has to have a G instead of its normal F sharp. You have to sharp that F sharp to a G. And then E minor. Play that again. Okay. So now I can go from any minor key to any other minor key by using this method, but I can mix and match. I can also go from a minor key to a major key by going back to what we did in the last video, which is the major 2-5-1. So if I'm in E minor, which is where we've just arrived, and let's say I want to go to the key B flat major, which is quite a nice, bright, happy key. Do 2-5-1 in B flat, which would be C minor, F7, B flat. Okay, so I've gone from there to... So I've gone to two completely unrelated, very distant chords there. Okay, most of the time when you're doing a key change, you're not going to do that. You're not going to go ridiculous from one remote key to another. Probably you'll be going from, let's say you're in the key of C, you'll be wanting to go to the key of A minor, which is the relative minor. So you would be wanting to go C, then the 2-5-1 here, the minor 2-5-1. So this would be where you have your B minor, flat 5. There's your flat 5. There, and then your E7 with the sharp 5. Okay, so there you go, into the relative minor of A minor. And let's say you want to get back. Well, major 2-5-1, D minor 7, G7, back into C. But you could also go to F minor, that's another relative key. So G7, flat 5. So you have G, B flat, D flat, flatten that D to C. But remember, we've got the flat 5, the sharp 5 there rather. Okay, so that's pretty much how you do it. Going from major key to minor key to major key, minor key to minor key, whatever you want to do. Now you have the tools to be able to go from any major key to any minor key, any minor key to any major key. You could go around all possible major keys, all possible minor keys, potentially in one song if you really, really wanted to. But this is a very powerful tool in your songwriting arsenal, being able to change mode, which is major mode, minor mode, and being able to change key, as we've already discussed in the previous video. So I hope all of this is really helpful to you. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment below on this video in the YouTube channel. Or you can shoot me an email at johnny@johnnylipshamstudios.co.uk. Or if you are a member of the HST Songwriting for Studio One group in Facebook, this video will appear in that group. If you are a member of that group, watch the video. Any questions you have, leave a comment underneath in that thread and I'll try and answer as many as you can. But also Johnny Geib and I, who run that songwriting group, we are going to be doing a live stream broadcast fairly soon, in the next few days, I think. We haven't quite set a date for it yet, but keep an eye on the Facebook group. Keep an eye on lipshamandgeib.com as well. Keep an eye on my website, johnnylipshamstudios.co.uk. Keep an eye on all of those areas, and if you're in any of the HST groups, keep an eye there. We will announce when we're going to be doing this broadcast, and that is another opportunity for you to be able to ask any of your questions on anything that we've covered in any of the videos that I have done just recently, including these ones. But we're going to finish up with a practical application of changing key. So we're going to go to Studio One. And I have this arrangement here of the classic standard jazz standard song My Funny Valentine, which I believe was written by Rodgers and Hammerstein, that great songwriting team. And this is an arrangement I did for a client of mine for his jazz standards record. I've muted the vocal because it's not particularly important. We want to hear the chord changes really. So I wrote this new intro, which is in a nice bright major key, but Funny Valentine is in the key of C minor. So I had to get from the bright happy major key to the minor key for the start of the verse. So I'm going to play that a little bit. And then in this song, the bridge goes to the relative major, which is E flat major for the bridge, before working its way back into the key of C minor. So you get to hear a practical example of how this works in a real song. Okay, so here we go. There's the key back into C minor. Okay, so you heard there the little turnaround here at this point, right about here. Here it comes. Okay. Just that last little bit I'm just going to do. 2, 5, 1. Into the verse. Okay. So there you go. So that's how you can go from a major key to a minor key. Now a little bit later on in the song, which I'm just going to cue up. Okay, so we're going to pick it up in this section here, where it goes from the minor to the relative major. So we're going from C minor to E flat. Okay, take a listen. Back to C minor and 5 and 1 into piano solo. Okay, so there you've got a practical application there of going between major and minor keys in the same song, Funny Valentine. So I hope that this was really helpful for you. As I said, go check out the Facebook groups, the Songwriting for Studio One group, which Johnny Geib and myself run. Also check out lipshamandgeib.com, which is our joint little run website where we, as I said last time, we pretty much mine the internet for great songwriting tips and tricks and advice and places where you can go to get information that will really help you develop your songwriting skills and your craft. Plus, we put our own decades of songwriting experience together, where we develop our own resources and materials for your use as well. So, and this video certainly forms part of that. So go check those things out. Also hit my website as well, johnnylipshamstudios.co.uk. That's .co.uk. And again, you'll find all of my services, plus you'll also find a lot of interesting stuff, again, about songwriting, which is pretty much my biggest passion. Okay, so hope that was helpful. And until next time, I'll see you on the next video. Bye.